All right, folks, your boy TV here at S&B. We back. We got lots to talk about. I'm not going to spend too much time on the subject, but if any of y'all are still watching these videos, you probably, or you actually were watching them, you've probably been wondering where have I been. Right as the market gets hot, your boy here TV at S&B, he drops off the face of the planet. Well, anyways, haven't been dropping videos recently. Up until probably like May or so. Just wasn't making videos. And then midway through June, I started the process of moving. I moved my computer. And for like 3 or 4 weeks, I haven't had internet. Today, finally, Comcast guy shows up. And your boy's back on the internet. So we got lots to talk about. And I figured I'd take this opportunity to make a video. Now that I got internet, I can finally upload something. And oh boy, do we got lots to talk about. Has the market been crazy? Also, lack of webcam. Sorry, you guys can't see my beautiful face. You're just going to have to settle for my beautiful voice. I don't know where my webcam is. Still unboxing things, so it's in a box somewhere around here. But probably just going to get a new one. That one was crappy anyways. I'll probably get like an actual 1080p one so you can really see all my beautiful features. But anyways, wow, stocks. What can I say? What can you tell me? What can you say about this chart? We're here. We're gonna waste no time. We're looking at the S&P 500 ES futures. Just unbelievable. Just crazy. This bullishness recently has just been through the roof. It's absolutely insane. If you look at this chart, you cannot even try to be bearish about this chart. It is just absolutely picture freaking perfect. It's unreal. I mean, every dip gets bought. Dip, buy. Dip, buy. Dip, buy. Yesterday, we got that CPI news. Came in lower than expected. Just unbelievably bullish. Unbelievably bullish. Core CPI taking a big hit, which is the main thing that the Fed has been talking about. And that's the main question mark in this entire inflation equation. We've gotten our headline. We've gotten that non-core CPI to come down, but that's because food inflation and oil inflation has come down. But it's that sticky service side inflation that we are finally seeing signs of slowing down, and that's what the Fed has been hammering on about, is that, hey, everything else is coming down, but we need to see that service side, that core inflation, the housing inflation. We need to see that come down. And finally, this CPI that came out yesterday confirmed that they're making great strides in that area, and it's crazy. It's hugely bullish, and as you can see, the S&P 500 has just been on a tear. I mean, just smashing. We just smashed through 4,500 today, slashed right through it, and this chart has just been absolutely freaking perfect. I mean, it's just crazy. Every dip, we dip a little bit, bought up, dip a little bit, bought up. It's unbelievably bullish. So now we have to look back, way back here. We're way back to where we were back in April of 2022. Remember the fear and the panic in the market back then? It was crazy. There were wars starting. Inflation was out of control. The Fed is doing 75 basis points hikes. So we're back at that area over here. And now we need to look at where we will probably face some resistance. And right now the next target is right about here at 46.35. That's our previous rejection point that we rejected. Remember that bull trap we got in March where the market just went straight up for the last half of March last year? And then April and May was just the bloodiest ass-ripping months of the year. Not the bloodiest of the year, but it was just terrible. Just the wheels fell off the fucking thing. So we're back at those levels, and we are expecting... So this is a huge supply. And then back over here, early January, this is where we first start hearing that, oh no, Fed is going to start jacking up rates the first time they have in years, and it's going to be aggressive. So that's where that panic set in. First week of March. Funny enough, first week of January, I should say. This is right when I started day trading. This is when I finally full-time started. Was this first half of January. It was just a bloodbath, just every day. S&P, look at this. I mean, it's unbelievable. If I can actually drag us over here. I mean, down 1.5%, down almost 2%, down 1%, down 1%, down 2%, down another 1.5%. Just blood, and I'm just sitting here like, oh boy, I'll buy the dip. Hey, we're getting some dips in stocks. This is nice. And it was just an unbelievable time. So we're back at these levels. And the thing about this is we have ripped through some of these levels. I mean, we just dumped from 4,700 to 4,600. There was no consolidation at this price. We had no consolidating. So that leads me to believe that once we do, and same with over here, same at this level, we had no consolidating. We just went up and straight back down, up, straight back down. So that kind of leads me to believe that now that we are returning to these price levels, we will probably have to do a small amount of consolidation. Same thing here. You saw where we dropped over here from 4,500 straight down to 4,330. We had no consolidation over here back in April. Zero. Just straight down. So what happens? What happens? Over here, we finally reach these levels. We go straight up there, and then we had to do some consolidating. That's usually what you have to do when there are these volume gaps, where there was a lack of consolidation in the past. You run up to the top, and then you pull back, and then you get some consolidating, and that's exactly what we saw. That's why this price action has been so healthy. It hasn't just been like straight up, no consolidating. We have been consolidating. So what does that lead me to believe? It leads me to believe that we will probably run to 4630, run into this brick wall, and then I imagine we will see a bit of consolidation. If I can make this a nice blue color. I think we will see some consolidation in this zone. And we'll see a little choppy chop, which is not a bad thing, but it is a bad thing if you're playing really short dated calls. But I believe we will run up to this level and we will see run up and then chop around, maybe pull back, retest 4,500, maybe even pull back, retest 4,420. But I think we will see some consolidation before we inevitably break above and head for those all-time highs on the S&P 500. That's what I'm seeing right now. Drop a comment if you disagree or if you're still bearish. Honestly, just macro sense, it is impossible, absolutely impossible to be bearish right now. You can think, yeah, maybe stocks will come down. We're due for a pullback. Maybe we will see a little pullback here because we have just been going insane. The greed is out of control right now. But you cannot be telling me that the bottom is not in. You are out of your mind if you think we can possibly get to a worse situation than we were in last year without something massive breaking. And that's just what the price action is telling me. It's unbelievable. Inflation's coming down. So maybe you could say, well, the Fed, they're saying they're not going to drop rates for another couple of years. Yeah, maybe. Or are they just saying that because they have to say that? If they hint that they're going to become dovish now, inflation could take a turn back up. So they could just be saying, yeah, it's going to be another couple of years. But then if we do get back to that 2% target on inflation within the next year, they could potentially talk about starting to cut. And that would only be a year away. That wouldn't be 2 years away. So I think that's what the market is thinking. I think they're calling Jay Powell's bluff. You know Jay Powell. He bluffs and bluffs and bluffs and bluffs. That's what he does. He is CEO of SPY, Jay Powell. But that's what I think on that. It is frankly impossible to be bearish at the moment. But that doesn't mean, hey, go buy calls now. We are at a peak. We have peaked up here. We are going to hit a wall somewhere, and we will see some, not big pullback, but we will see a little pullback like we had right here or right here. We're not just going to just go straight up. So you got to prepare for that and be ready to buy dips. That's why you don't just go balls deep right now. You wait, you patient. You will get dips. You will get dips. If you miss this one, don't FOMO. But same thing with the Nasdaq. Like we were talking about in the S&P 500, we are running back up to these levels that we have not seen since January of last year. You can see right here. What do we have right here? Tell me what we had right here. We had barely any consolidation. We did get some choppiness over here, but there are sellers still waiting right there. Still waiting. There are sellers waiting at that 15, basically 16,000 level to about 1565 on the Nasdaq. So be prepared for that. Expect a little resistance, or expect, like we just said about the Nasdaq, expect perhaps some choppy consolidation, healthy consolidation. That's what you want to see. That's been the key this entire year. We make these peaks, we run up, peak, and then we consolidate near the height, near the peak of that push is where we consolidate. Same with over here. Same with over here. Same with right there. Same with right there. So until the market stops doing that, you play it. You play it. You go with the flow. You don't fight the flow. You don't fight the trend. The trend is your friend. Trend is super bullish. Let's look at AMD. I know that was probably one of the last videos I dropped on this channel was how bullish I thought AMD was. And if anyone played it, let me know. AMD is looking immaculate to the upside. This is what AMD always does. It's not NVIDIA. AMD is never going to be NVIDIA. AMD always does this. It pushes, and then it gets these big pullbacks. Pushes, and you get big pullbacks. I mean, this is a pullback from 88 down to about 75. Over here, we pushed to 102. We pulled back all the way to 80. So we get these, like, fat pullbacks on AMD. It's pretty standard, and you can see that right now. We pushed up on AMD to, like, 130. We've pulled back to about 107, about a 20% pullback on AMD. And then what has happened in the past? Pull back, push up, pull back, push up. So AMD, we have gotten support at this key level, and that's another thing you want to see. You want to see resistance was over here at AMD at 110. We pushed through it. We pulled back to that resistance. We've consolidated near it, and now we are starting to see buyers show up at that 110. We are getting support at 110. That was resistance, super bullish. AMD looks fantastic to the upside. It is still ways away from its all-time high, but next level on AMD, I'm seeing if we were to push up, we got to break 117. So you're seeing where we're running into a brick wall right now on AMD, right here at 116, which look at that. That's where we pushed up. That's where we found support. So once we break 116, I love AMD to about 140, this next key fib level, which is also a key level, as you can see over here. So that's what I love on AMD right now. It looks fantastic to the upside to 140 in the next couple weeks. I'm in some long-dated calls. Let's talk about Apple. And I mean, really, what is there to talk about Apple here? Apple has done just like, it's been textbook. Apple has been absolutely textbook this entire freaking year. It's unbelievable. The amount of times it has broken resistance, pulled back, that resistance is support. Look at this. You got resistance right there. Where's the pullback? Boom. Right to that resistance. You run up, resistance there. Where's the pullback? Boom. Right to there. Up here, resistance, pullback, boom. Up here, oh my goodness. Look where this resistance was over here in May. Resistance at 170. We break 170. We get a pullback. Where's the find support? Back at 170. Oh my goodness. Look at this. We break through. We got resistance at 176.50. Break through that. We get a pullback. Where's it find resistance? At 176.50. I'll be damned. And now what's it doing? We had resistance here at 187.34. We have pulled back to that level. We are bouncing off of it on sort of strong volume, but it looks like we are flagging here on the daily here on Apple. I don't like, what is there to say? You can't even look back. This is all-time highs. Apple is just going absolutely insane. So we're still in the uptrend on Apple. I love it to the upside, but not as much as I love Google. Google with a massive 4% day today. Looking at Google here on the hourly, it looks terrific. I don't want this video to go too long, so I'll try to be speedy on Google because there's really not a whole lot to say. Google just looks terrific. It is lagging the other FANGs. I mean, Microsoft and Apple are already back at all-time highs, right? Microsoft, damn near all-time highs. Apple, well over all-time highs. Amazon, another one that's lagging. But Google, it looks great. It is up there with it is one of the big three, in my opinion, up there with the other massive tech giants, Apple and Microsoft. It is right next there. But the stock price is lagging, which makes me believe that is a terrific value right here. We are still well below. We're still about 30% away from its all-time highs. So it's got AI exposure. It's one of those top 3 best tech companies where it has a moat, a monopoly, basically. It just looks great. The chart, even if you didn't know anything about Google, just looking at this chart, it is absolutely super mega bullish. Just picture perfect. I mean, look at this perfect bull flag that we broke out of today on really high volume, mind you. It looks great. I think it's going to be pushing up. And then another thing, you look over here on Google, what do we talk about? We talked about those volume gaps. Look at this. There was no consolidation. No consolidation over here. I mean, it consolidated a little bit of choppiness for about a week, and then we went straight from 131 straight down to 123. So that leads me to believe look what it did. Look at that. Look, it hit that level and we've consolidated. So we could consolidate a little bit, but a breakout above that zone, and then, oh, this is even better. This is really a volume gap over here. Look at this. So over about 5, count them. One, we can zoom in, I guess. Over about 5 trading sessions, Google went straight from 143 down to 132. No consolidation here, nothing. Just all selling. Low volume selling too, if you look down there at the bottom of the screen. Low volume selling, we went straight through that level. That leads me to believe if we were to reach those levels, we have gaps, huge volume gap, we'll just go straight back through that. So I absolutely, it is probably my biggest position right now, along with Tesla. If we do break this consolidation zone, we come up here, we chop around, we break out of this, I could see Google just going straight back up through this, straight up through this, up to about 143.50. That is basically what I'm seeing on Google. We're going to hit a wall, but then after that wall, we're going to hit a wall at about 144. After that wall, same thing, man. Look at this. I mean, Google back early in January or late January of 2022, Google went straight up and straight back down. No consolidation. Another zone with no freaking consolidation right there. We just went straight down. I mean, we went straight from 152 to 143. So you look at the chart on Google, and it is just empty volume gap, fair value gap. It's going to fill those gaps. I think it'll do it sooner than later. I love Google to the upside. I have some 6 month out leap calls about where are they? January of 2024, 135 leap calls on Google right now. So I bought those. I mean, I bought those up here, and I paid for the time. That's why I paid for the time. You pay for the time, ladies and gents. You got to pay for the time. Otherwise, if I would have bought, I would have looked at Google over here back in May or early June and been like, oh yeah, it looks great. It's going to keep going up. I want to buy some calls that are about a month out. I would have gotten completely smoked. Those calls would be going to zero because I didn't buy time. But I'm using the really long time frames. Even if you look at the weekly, I mean, the weekly on Google looks immaculate. Look at that. I mean, just absolutely immaculate. That weekly candle on Google is just perfect. So that's why I'm buying the time on these calls. I've had so much success. I've been having so much more success. I wasn't having any success because I would be like, hey, Google looks great. I'll buy 2 week out calls. And what does Google do? I mean, it pulls back slightly. It consolidates a little bit, but I bought those calls for 130 and we're way down here at 124. Those calls are going to zero. But if I just would have bought more time, I would have been right. I wouldn't have panic sold. So that's why I implore you to consider, if you're going to take big positions, swing positions, that you pay for the time. If you have the capital, you buy those 6 month out, 9 month out, year out contracts, because you could be right, but you could be wrong on the timing. So I implore you to consider doing that. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is only entertainment purposes. But anyways, next play, BABA. This is going to be a long video. I'm sorry. There are just so many stocks that look absolutely immaculate. BABA, man. So BABA got some news. Chinese regulators fined him $1 billion. The investigation's over. Yada yada. It's super bullish. BABA has just only been going up since that news came out Friday of last week. This has been a really green week. If we look at the weekly on BABA, it looks absolutely terrific to the upside. I imagine we will hit a resistance at 103.30, but right now it's the same thing. It's just volume gap. There's fair value gaps all over. We just went straight through this level, and you can see same with over here from 95 down to 90. And what happens? We go straight back through that. So same idea, but we are going to hit a zone over here where we will probably have to consolidate in this zone. But I love BABA. Shit, man, I love BABA to like 120, honestly. And it's one of those stocks right now where I would say you could buy it and hold it for years. It looks terrific, but I have calls for January, 6 months out. I love BABA to the upside. It looks phenomenal. What else do I got? What else? I haven't looked at Qualcomm in a while. No, Qualcomm's a stinker. SoFi. Who doesn't love SoFi? Who doesn't love them some SoFi? So this one's a little risky, but I've loved the price action that SoFi has been having. Same idea. Same exact, dude. You could just do this on every stock right now, I swear. So look at this zone. Look at this over here. So we did have some consolidation on this zone over here, but you can see where we yanked straight through it. We went straight. So SoFi, we're selling off. We come down. We base at 8. We bounce off 8. We come to 10. We're consolidating in this little box I have here. If we get our volume profile over here, we're doing a little consolidating, but you can see how low this volume is. If you look at the volume profile, you see how low that volume is over there. You see that? Super low volume consolidating, and then we get yanked straight through. So we're pushing up on SoFi. Where are we looking? Where do we think we're going to hit a little rejection? Oh my goodness, right on that spot, baby. We filled that fair value gap. We hit $10, short step up. We yank back from 10 straight down to 7, about $8. Now, you might be a little worried, but if you look at this trend line, we've bounced off of it perfectly. It's, I mean, the bounce off of 8, and now we have bounced off 8 twice, and now we're seeing some strong, very good consolidation happening right here. This is exactly what you want to see. If we do break back above that 950 level on SoFi, I absolutely love it to the upside to about $13. SoFi has just been a dear stock of mine. It's sentimental value. I'm a SoFi customer. I love the company. I love the CEO. I know people are going to be like, it doesn't make a profit, but it's going to be one of those stocks where as soon as it has one of those earnings reports where they do eventually turn profitable, it's going to be too late. You're going to wish you bought 6 months before that. And that is that time right now, I believe, to begin. I mean, you should have been buying SoFi, obviously, down here at 5. But I still think the upside potential is fantastic. And once again, another one of these fair value gaps. Look at this. I mean, just unbelievable. We just went straight down from 13, straight down to 1050. That's a massive drop on SoFi. That just happened over the span of like 2 days. So we have all this price range that has no volume. There's nothing there. So if it gets enough momentum, it will fly through those levels. Mark my words. So I got year out. I got heavily dated, heavily in the money, year out calls on SoFi. I love SoFi to the upside, baby. Love it. Man, stocks are exciting again. This has just been an absolutely crazy year. I know I was bearish as hell early in the year. I feel like everyone was. I lost out on a lot of gains, but you just have to be willing to be flexible. I'm reading this really good book right now. It's phenomenal. What's it called? The Psychology of Trading or something. It's not. A lot of traders come on here. They say you got to be disciplined. And discipline implies that you just keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. So if I was disciplined in my bearish thesis like I would be sitting here trying to short this freaking market. You should not try to be just disciplined. You should be flexible. You have to be willing to bend and move with the market. You cannot just be like a stick, a brittle stick, because the first time anything bends you snap, you break, you lose all your money. You got to be flexible. Got to have some flex. And that has been the real lesson learned for me this year, is that it's not just about discipline. Discipline, you don't just wake up and do the same exact thing, because the market is not the same exact at all times. It's never going to be the same exact. It's always going to ebb and flow. You're always going to have choppy times. You're going to have really quickly down times, like last year. If you were super bull or bearish last year and you were just short, you made a lot of money. This year, you do the same thing, not going to work. It's been a very directional market. If you're the type of trader where you just scalp, where you just get a small gain, you take the gain because you're convinced that stocks are going to go back down, like I have been, frankly, you're missing out on a lot of gains, because guess what? That's not been happening. Stocks just keep going up. So that's why you have to ebb and flow with the market. That's been the main thing I've noticed. But, I mean, it's just been a wild past like 4 months. The market has just been giving us such phenomenal opportunities, just unbelievable. So let's look at Tesla as well. I want to take a look at Tesla. Tesla, same idea. What can you say? We have consolidation zone over here. Where does Tesla run to? Straight to that consolidation zone. We're consolidating around this zone. So I love Tesla to the upside, to about 310. I'm heavily long on Tesla, owning many shares of Tesla, but that's really all there is to say about Tesla. I mean, what can you say? If we get a pullback, if we fill the gap down at 235, I'm buying more. Tesla is a winner. It's always going to be a winner. Another one of these stocks that is well off its all-time highs, and I love it to the upside. Cybertruck hype is going to be real. We are back in that zone where it's not about the profits and it's not about earnings right now. It's about the FOMO. It's about the memes. You know, everything's just going wild. So I love Tesla for that fact. If that makes me sound stupid, then so be it. But yeah. Tesla looks right to the upside. I mean, you can't show me a stock that looks good to the downside right now. It's just unbelievable, unless it's like an oil stock. Like, it's crazy. Tech is so insanely bullish right now. And that's really all there is to it. So, if you've watched my videos in the past and you see this video on your feed and you liked it, I'd appreciate it if you dropped a comment. I'm going to try to get back on my regular schedule of dropping these videos at least 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday. But now that I have my computer back, I got the internet, I can finally trade on my desktop. I'm back, baby. I'm excited. I can day trade again. I'm over that 25K threshold, and we're going to be getting it, folks. We're going to get it. You're not going to want to miss one of these videos. I'm telling you. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.